show. Tonight, I'll be looking at a topic that I've called Is It Really Time to Be on Survival Mode? Post COVID, many people, many organizations seem to be on a survival mode. They seem to be on what Nigerians call sit down look, waiting and watching. But my question to you as an entrepreneur, as a business builder is it really time to be on a survival mode? When people switch to the survival mode, they get into the state of self-preservation. They stop taking risk. They seem to be looking at cutting their losses. But again, it's a question that I'm asking you. If most people are doing that, and is it really what you think you should be doing? Do you think that is a smart move? Sort of reminds me about what happens in the stock market. When the market is agog and everybody is buying, the smart investors pull back. That is not when they buy, it's already late buying then. And so the smart investors seem to take actions that is contrary to the market. If we take that as an analogy into the world of business, and I think it's a good place to make an analogy, then this is not the time for you to be in survival mode. When people are cutting back on marketing costs, when people are cutting back on training costs, when people are cutting back on research, on innovation, that is a dumb thing for you to do. Why? Because there are value creators. And I just, other than just, I think it's not fair calling them value creators, but value levers, things that multiplies value in the organization, like innovation and marketing, which are really the critical things that any business must do, really. Those things are things you should rather be investing in the quality of your people, investing in the resilience of your systems. This is just some thought to leave with you. And I want to just share some thoughts along that line with that. Sometimes you can actually be trying too hard, and trying too hard could actually be hurting your progress. And so just need to know that sometimes not fighting is actually a better strategy to win some fights, not even getting into the fight. So it's about strategy, is about just sometimes it can be get tactical. There is this story you may have heard about it, but if you've not heard about it, okay, so okay, just something that you could get some value from. It's along these lines of just what you do. Is it the right time for you to be on survival mode? This was in the 18th century, 18th, 19th century, thereabout. Napoleon Bonaparte of France. At some time, he was just overrunning the whole of Europe, and he got quite, well, I say ambitious, over ambitious, and was was moving into Russia. And the Russians played a very fast one. They initially avoided a confrontation with Bonaparte. So what they did was what is got to be known as a scorched earth tactic or policy, if you want to call that. They were retreating, and as they were retreating, they were just burning down their cities and villages, even up to the point that Moscow as well. They just deserted the place, and the French they got there, and as so they were they were sucking the French into the authority, and as they were just burning, so burning means of livelihood, burning, making it more difficult for them to have logistics lines, supplies, and all that. So just pulling them back. And so it's about strategy. So looking at your resources. And so what happened at that time was this: as we were doing that, this this season began to move into winter, and so really terribly cold. And so many things, disease, and soldiers defecting, and cold, soldiers dying, no supply, more difficult to connect back to the supply. And so the French, led by Napoleon, they were just losing the battle. Eventually, real face-to-face battle at the appropriate time was then fought. And as the story goes, as history records it, the French, they lost out, and they lost out. They lost out. So don't joke with the Russians. Okay, that's just by the way. And so it's about strategy, really. What is right for you to do? What is right? Survival is self-preservation, and people don't get creative when they're in self-preservation mode. They become scared, they become fearful, they become afraid. You don't see the best of people in self-preservation. And so life, for you, life to expand, you must be on the attack mode. You gotta be on the attack. Attack your problems, and but just know that strategy is hugely important. And so you need to also avoid working too hard. You had me right. Trying too hard can actually be hurting your progress, because when you're trying too hard, you get into some fights that you're better off winning without having to fight at all. Without having to fight at all. And it's along that line too that price wars goes on. It's a dumb thing to fight with price. So it's always about you creating value. When people fight with price, and so they destroy themselves. And so you better not get into that. So it's business is really about creating an undue, and if you like, call it unfair advantage, that you have an advantage over that, your competition. And what better way to do that than don't do what your competition they're doing. uh, do something that is smarter, do something that is different. So keep investing in marketing, keep investing in innovation, keep investing in leadership, in the quality of your people. That is where you're going to have value multipliers to your organization. Hope you get some value from this. This is this really the time to be on a survival mode? Chuk says no. If you are a business builder, this is not the time to be on the survival mode. You should be on the attack mode. You should be advancing. You should be doing what most other people aren't doing. So when things turn around, you have already built capacity. You have built a resilient organization that, wow, you are the person who's been marketing and be talking to your people. You are the person that they're going to come to. So keep showing up, keep winning, and bye bye.